Hello and welcome to Take Time. I'm your host Patrick Marlatt, and today let's talk about my absolute favorite Seiko diver, the watch I believe sits atop the ranks of Seiko's dive watch range, the SBBN015 Tuna Marinemaster. The Seiko Tuna has a long history starting back in 1975 with the 6159-7010, or the automatic grandfather tuna as some call it, all the way to the modern SBBN range. There are consumer variations of the watch with 200 to 300 meters of water resistance, as well as professionally spec'd divers versions with 600 to 1,000 meters of water resistance. However, today we'll be focusing on one model in particular, my favorite model, and the version I believe is most emblematic of what the Seiko Tuna is, the SBBN015. The Seiko Tuna SBBN015 is the most iconic tuna to date, in my humble opinion, and of course I'll give you my reasons as to why, but this is the version of the watch that most consumers have grown so fond of, and for a lot of reasons. But before we touch on that, I'd like to do a brief history overview on the movement inside this watch, and of course the watch itself, and then I'll share my personal opinions on the piece. The 7C46 featured inside the SBBN015 was first introduced in 1986 in this watch's predecessor, the SBBN007, which featured a very similar case design but opted for a steel bezel insert instead of the black one you see here with outlined hour markers on the dial, very similar to the original grandfather tuna. The movement proved so remarkable with its accuracy rated at plus or minus 15 seconds a month and its 5-year battery life average that it's still used to date in all quartz-based versions of the Seiko Tuna. However, the SBBN015 is amongst one of the last models to feature the dial and handset style established by the original grandfather tuna. This is of course excluding any limited or special edition remakes of previous Seiko tunas. This model range, established in 2009, went on until 2015 before being replaced by the current generation of SBBN models, the 31, 33, 35, and 37, all with new facelifts established by their spring drive variants. To me, the current range of Seiko tunas is a sad departure from the original design, one that's both functional, iconic, and truly beautiful. The SBBN015s were the first to come stock with a bracelet, a signed crown, and furthermore, the Marinemaster distinction on the dial. This is Seiko's masterpiece, the perfect blend of their diving heritage mixed with all the modern comforts you'd expect from a prosumer watch, such as the ratcheting clasp featured on the stock bracelet here, as well as the proven reliability and durability of the tuna case and shroud, coupled with the excellent accuracy of the 7C46. This model rests atop many Seiko collectors' goals, but not only that, dive watch enthusiasts. If you were looking for Seiko's most iconic diver, look no further than the SBBN015. It is everything a consumer would want from Seiko's diving range. A wholly original design with one of their best quartz movements, an extremely comfortable bracelet, and all of the trimmings of a true Marinemaster. It's a shame they no longer make this model, but without a doubt, I believe it is their best dive watch to date, and the one I encourage most enthusiasts to pick up when folks ask me which Seiko diver they should buy. Try looking up the Seiko SBBN015. Now with that, why don't we talk a little bit more about the watch. I acquired this watch a little over 6 months ago, and I was fortunate enough to get it from its original owner. So box, paperwork, all of that good stuff, to include all of the bracelet links, which can be a little expensive on the second-hand market. Anyways, when I picked this up, I set the time just the once. And since then, it has gained about 10 seconds worth of time, which is extremely incredible when you consider that the 7C46 isn't a Grand Seiko movement. So definitely one of their best quartz movements in my opinion. The Seiko Tuna Marinemaster features a 48mm diameter case with 45mm lug-to-lug ends. And in case you want me to verify that on camera, because a lot of people disbelieve this fact, there's some evidence for you there. The outer ends of the shroud actually protrude further than the lug-to-lug distance. The case itself is 15 millimeters thick and features 22 millimeter lugs. The case back's close profile to the chassis allows it to sit firmly against the wrist and cover a good portion of its surface. Truly, I've never had a better wearing Seiko diver, and again, that's thanks in large part to the case back's low profile. As you can see here, it just hugs the wrist, and that's extremely favorable in day-to-day use. The luminance, thanks to Seiko's LumiBright, still shines brightly well into the evening, especially with the application found here. If you are a lume junkie, you'll get a kick out of how bright this thing is at night. The crystal featured here is, of course, hardlex, and although many groups offer a sapphire alternative, I have found that the domed hardlex offers a perfect view of the dial from any angle. Scratches aside, I love the choice of material here. The bracelet, while not as fancy as the current variant, offers a lovely tapered aesthetic, from 22 millimeters at the case to 18 millimeters before greeting the ratcheting clasp. The center links feature subtle, high polished edges that play with the light in a pleasing way without being too distracting for the viewer. The bezel has a nice damp action to it, much like its stablemate, the SBBN015 Marinemaster. As you should expect, it's the best Seiko offers in their diving range. Seiko has not done the tuna design any better than it has with the SBBN015. To me, it truly is their masterpiece, and not only amongst their tuna range, but above all other divers they've created. It wears the Marinemaster distinction well and will forever sit atop the ranks of the most iconic dive watches ever made. Now, if you found this video enlightening or in the least entertaining, feel free to hit that like button. It looks a whole heck of a lot like this guy. If you have friends, forums, or groups that were interested in picking up a Seiko diver, particularly from their tuna range, and there have been a lot since the 1970s, feel free to share this video with them to help encourage them the right direction into acquiring what I feel is the most iconic Seiko diver. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do videos like this 2 or more times a week, so if watch content is your thing, feel free to slam that subscribe button, and while you're down there, hit the notification bell to see precisely when my videos air. Again, my name is Patrick Marlad, and thank you for the time.